Okay, I had to figure out what I was doing wrong. Thank you so much. Hold on just a second. This is Kay White going live on this Friday. I believe this is day 9, but I've been telling you about how we as a group of friends, we're all going live daily to talk with our audience. And I've been talking primarily about managing your personal finances. That's a topic that I'm very passionate about. And I have expanded this to include AI because I realized that this next phase that we are going to go through technology wise and for our businesses is going to completely evolve with the benefits of AI. You're going to see some amazing things. I'm already seeing it. Artificial intelligence is helping me manage my business so much quicker and faster, and I'm able to get things done where it might have taken, oh my goodness, hours or days in some cases. I can get things done quickly. And I can't wait to get back to talking about AI because there's just so much more that I want to show you. We've only scratched the surface a little bit with what we've covered so far, but there's so much more. Just to share with you, I am getting an event ready, and so I actually needed just a contract, not a contract, but a registration form for vendors. And I went into my ChatGPT program, and this is ChatGPT version 4, which is the pro version where you have images and you can create a lot more using the advanced version. But anyway, I needed a quick registration form for food vendors, and I went into ChatGPT, explained what I need, and instantly I had the vendor registration form. I, that's that's how amazing artificial intelligence is. And so it's just a real exciting, oh my goodness, tool on the horizon. And so, yeah, artificial intelligence is really amazing. And the registration form that was created is not the only thing that you can do. There's so much more that you can do and create. I always love using the example of resume writing. It's a wonderful tool for any type of business, pretty much that you might need forms and resources and checklists and you name it. You can, whatever your business, you can go into ChatGPT version 4, ask it to create the form for you, and typically it will do just that. So that's enough about AI. I love artificial intelligence and talking about it and showing how you can incorporate it into your business, all of that. But for this 31-day series, and I believe this again is day 9, I want to really focus on finances because I've been talking about in recent months artificial intelligence, but I don't want to forget about finance. So I said, since I'm doing the 31-day challenge, we'll focus on finance. So for today's topic, we'll talk about banking. And with banking, let's see, I'm going to read a quote to you. Actually, this is from my book, The 52 Weeks of Financial Awareness, that I've been telling you about. And on week 32, or in week 32, I should say, the quote at the very top says, "Banks are not there to park your money. Banks are there to borrow money to build wealth." And one of the most amazing things I discovered that I didn't know when I first became familiar with the banking system. I remember in college sitting in my economics class, and the professor was talking about banks and how banks operate and all of that. And he mentioned that with your bank, when you make a deposit, the funds are taken out by, let me back up. No, this is what he said. He said, when you make a deposit into the bank then uses those funds to make loans to other people. And that just blew my mind. I was so sure. I had no idea that banks operated that way. Now, mind you, at that time, I was probably about 19 years old and didn't have a real clue about the banking system and how it fits into the world. But I was absolutely blown away. I thought when I put my money in the bank, they go and put it somewhere, I guess in a drawer. I envisioned all of these many drawers open, and the bank actually taking the money that I deposit and put it in a drawer somewhere. And then when I'm ready for it, I could go back and just get it. So now at 19, I was clueless, had no idea that they actually use these funds to make loans to other people. But that's how the banking system works. So I was simply fascinated by that. That's just one aspect of the bank, and that is a big aspect. Again, one of the greatest things you can do is, particularly if you have a business, is to start building your credit. We've talked about credit before, but you want to also work towards building your business credit so that you can have access to additional funds to help you grow your business. And as you need funds for startup costs, I don't particularly like using loans and all of that necessarily for startup costs if it's something very, very new. I do think there are certainly benefits. You want to build your business credit so that you have it available if you need it in the future. Yet at the same time, you want to be just really aware of what you're getting into. And sometimes when we're starting a new business, we're not always aware of the impact with using credit, lines of credit, and credit cards, and all those things. So you have to be very careful with that. But once you have a handle on things, and you're looking to build your business credit, then you can certainly start borrowing to build business credit. That's an excellent thing to do. But the role all of this plays into just the banking system, it's so important to build a business relationship with your bank. So you might not need that relationship necessarily in the beginning years, but later in life, as you continue to grow your business and want to expand and grow all of that, then you will find having a business relationship in place can make a world of difference. So, again, banks are available for this purpose. That's what they do best. That's how they make their money, charging all the interest on those loans. They will pay very little interest typically, but then when you need the funds and you are borrowing, that's when the high interest fees will come into play very often through the bank. But if you're actually going in and borrowing of funds from the bank, or let me reverse that. If you're going into the bank and you're actually putting your funds into the bank, hoping to make some interest on the money that you have there, you probably will find that the amount of interest is relatively small. Like even today, especially in this economy, and we're in the midst of an inflation, so interest rates on that are paid out tend to be really, really low. And it's during periods of time like this. I think I was sharing this yesterday or the day before that there are often some other options that you can use. A lot of people will use treasury bills to make a higher interest rate, or CDs typically are paying more during times like this. But again, using these things and especially using them to help you even personally build your credit. It's a great thing if you can take a borrow or borrow money through a loan just for the purpose of building your credit for the future. That can be an excellent move. So you can use the bank for something like that. I've gotten notifications for something called, I believe, a flex loan through, and I want to say this is it Bank of America, but this is opportunity, and I want to say they promote it as no need to check your credit. It's a small amount. That's something that I would do just as an added cushion for building my business credit. So that's just an FYI to you. When you see opportunities presented to you like that, if you know you have a strong credit score and that you can get the borrowed funds that they are advertising, then I I would do it just for the sake of building a strong credit record. Okay. And if you know that you don't have a strong credit report, because sometimes they'll promote these things and you may not have a strong credit report. And if you know that and your credit history isn't strong, then I would not even borrow. And I've told you before, when you get ready to do things like that, that you can take your credit report in with you before they actually pull it. And there's an inquiry. Just talk with them, show them what you have, that you've gotten on your own, your credit report, and just get some insight and guidance and see what they say before they actually start the transaction of pulling your credit to see if you would qualify. So be careful with the offers, that you get. Just be smart and aware. That's what I'm teaching through the book. Again, it's a financial awareness book. So let me see. What else did I want to talk with you about? I'm just kind of looking at the things that I've covered in the book about the banking system. Let's see. Okay, so we've talked about, I talked yesterday, I think, about, yeah, using the certificate of deposit. That's kind of something that I would see my dad do back in the day to build savings. For example, that is still there. I don't hear a lot about CDs. I take that back. I do hear about CDs, but there's just other ways to get higher interest that I like to encourage people to at least investigate. Okay, and then there's the money market fund. I remember my dad when I was a young girl started just kind of, went from the savings and then moved on and started using CDs, and then moved on and started using money market accounts. So, those are some of the traditional banking options that are out there if you want higher interest rates, or if you want like a better option than just putting your money in the bank and letting it sit there, especially if it's not getting any interest. If you build up some funds, these are some options for you to consider. I like to see people move on from that and start using even Acorns. Okay, a program like that would kind of do the investing for you. I see Miss Joan over here. Let me just jump in here and say hi. Hi, Joan. Let's see. Thanks for stopping by. I'm telling you what I'm typing. And then let's see. I am looking through to see what else. And Joan, we've been talking here about just the banking system and some of the things that you can use the banking system for. Some of the things that I learned in my younger days and have just carried over. And let's see, I even have them in my book. The book is called 52 Weeks of Financial Awareness, primarily for young adults. So that's the name of where financial awareness for young adults. But it's really for anyone. I always tell people that it's just a good tool and resource. And it is on Amazon as well. Okay, let's see. So, of course, at the bank, you can get personal loans, and we've talked a little bit about that. You want to look at the interest rates on these things. I like to use these as a strategy, really. I like getting a small personal loan just to build my business credit. So I get it when I don't really need it, and let that help me strengthen my credit worthiness, I should say, as a business owner. And let's see, of course, banks also have a wealth management unit. And with that, you can go in and get some advice on investments. I love to see people start to do this on their own. I've been talking about this in previous days. Again, Acorns is an option, but I want people to be independent and know what's happening with their own accounts. So I always say start small, and over time, build your investment. You might invest in some of the more common things, that think about the type of drinks that you drink every day, the beverages, and then maybe snacks. And it might be other services that you use, like your phone service, all these services. You want to check and see if they actually have something where you can invest in the products that you use every day. So, in like the computers that you use, just check and see what options are out there. Can you invest in the things that you like? Starbucks is a good example. So that's something where you could check and see. They do. I do know that there is a ticker symbol for Starbucks. So they are on an exchange. I can't remember which one, but that is an option to you. I have to put my disclaimer out there when we start talking about investing. You got to do some research and just be aware of what you're getting into. So that's really, really important. You want to look at the history of the stock. Typically, for older, long term, that strong, stable companies, you can be, a little bit more um, confident that based on the past history, they're going to perform. There just aren't any guarantees. I always tell people that. And, you can start to make small investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I like to tell young people, decide on an amount. And if you're looking at, for example, a stock that pays dividends, a growth stock, and just over time you've seen the history on just a variety of different things, then just to get familiar with how they maneuver, you could make small investments into maybe a different one even every month, and just continue the process over so many years. Just but the select, I would say maybe about six, and then continue if they're really, really strong companies. I won't make a recommendation. You got to research. You got to think about, look for things, stocks that pay a dividend, and just kind of research for yourself. Okay. And look at the past history. And so I've gotten all the way from banks. These are some services. Wealth management is something that banking institutions offer. And let's see what else. Let's see. And when it comes to the personal loans, they may or may not require some collateral. It just depends on the type of loan, how much, all of that. And this banking section that I have here in the book, it's a pretty long section, but it is pretty thorough. It just talks about all the options that are available. Of course, mortgages are can be a service that the bank offers, student loans, another, and yes, credit cards. Let's see. Banking. Oh, I'm talking here about the ATM machine. I always encourage people, be sure if you've got to go to an ATM, try to use your own institution. That's a practice that I started many, many years ago. I typically will not go to an ATM that's outside of my own bank because the fees are so much. I'm blown away about how much. Many, many years I started that. If I'm out of town and don't have any other options, then I might. But typically, I just will not use another bank's ATM where I don't have a relationship again because the fees can be really, really high for that. And let's see, ATM, let's see. We talked about ATM. Let's see. Oh, of course, your checking account. You having that at the bank is very, very common. So you are probably just really aware of that. And then credit unions are another option. It's always great to have a relationship with a credit union that can come in handy. I know in the past I would find that they might consider things that your banking institution might not. Sometimes you can find some flexibility with a credit union. So that's a possibility. And let's see. Let's see. I'm going to say that is pretty much it. I'm just kind of reading through here to make sure I've given you a pretty good overview of the banking system. That's what we're talking about today. Uh, Check writing, and that's certainly an option that comes with your personal account, business account. Anytime you have an account at the bank, usually there is going to come with some check writing options. And check writing is not so common today for young adults in that sense. I can remember as a young girl going to the grocery store and places with my mom, and she would have to write a check. You just don't see that anymore. These days, usually you are entering even your debit card and making your purchase and going on about your business. I always encourage people to be really careful if with using credit for groceries because the interest fees can really, really, really add up. So just some things to be aware of. Let's see what else about banking. Let's see. And I want to look at the last couple of paragraphs in this section and see if I've missed anything that I really want to share with you. At the time that I was writing the book, there was talk about a recession potentially and inflation, which of course we've been in inflation for a while now. It seems like the prices went up and didn't come down, right? For groceries and everything else. Okay, let's see. And then the last thing that I talked about, I already talked about this a little bit, but interest rates and how with inflation the interest rates have gone up. And let's see. And I just share that, with low interest rates, the target is to encourage people to borrow and spend more. But then when you see the tighter rates, they're trying to discourage you from spending, which is what we've seen during this inflationary period. So I think this is all that I have here to share with you. Of course, at the end of each chapter or week, in this particular one being banking, I include questions just to kind of keep the young minds, the young adults whom I wrote the book for, keep them alert and have drill in on some things that I want them to pay attention to. And then, oh, this is a good one here. For the final topic here, it's building a relationship with the bank. That's so important. You want to go in and have conversations from time to time with your bank. If you start with a company, and I love doing this with smaller institutions or with the credit union, if you start a relationship with your bank, check in with them from time to time and just kind of have a conversation about it, what it is that you're working on, what you want to accomplish. Very often, they'll introduce you to new products, tell you what you might consider to get there, and just be really, really aware. If you've offered a loan and or something of this nature where you're borrowing funds and there's an interest rate, be smart, be aware, use it to strengthen your situation. That's key. Try to be in a position where you don't need it, but you get it because you know that it's going to help you strengthen your financial ability and credit worthiness over a period of time. So when you do need these things in your business or just you have a project going on, then certainly this is something that you can have access to, hopefully, because you've already built your credit um, or your relationship, I should say, with the bank as well. Okay, that's all I have on banking. I'm having so much fun doing this every day. So I'll see you again tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. Trying to work around a schedule. I have a senior parent, so I'm trying to work around the schedule of managing things with her. But I'm just having fun again and talking with you about some money management things and personal finance. It's been fun. My name is Kate White again. My brand is Girls in Finance. And here's the book that I wrote during COVID, sharing it here. And you can find it on Amazon. Again, the name of the book is 52 Weeks of Financial Awareness for Young Adults. Have a good night. That's all I have for you. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow.